starting your life in a new place, it changes you like forever in a way.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's more blurry than it was when I was a kid.
I think maybe my idea of home, like right now, it's almost wanting to like move away from it.
There's still a lot for me to rediscover and to challenge my way of thinking.
Well, where is home if I grew up in all these different places and I have all these different like parts that make up who I am? Yeah.
Home, it's something we can all connect to. For me, home means love and family and friends, but also trauma and conflict. For others, it might mean pain, comfort, or longing. But even though we can all connect to home, it's something that we understand in different ways, with people like Anzaldua stating that I am a turtle, wherever I go I carry home on my back. How might home be perceived as something larger than an ideal image of nuclear families? If home is something we always carry, can we ever escape from it? Why is home so important that I even ask all these questions about it? With home being so personal, perhaps the best way to gain insight is to listen to others and see how home is linked to aspects of their identity, such as culture, sexuality, and gender.
Nationality?
Yeah, so I'm Russian, and even though sometimes it doesn't come with perks, it represents me because that's where I grew up, that's where I got my, my culture, my identity.
I've lived in like 2 houses my whole life, and then I think I moved out of the first one when I was like in kindergarten, so I would say I have quite a few memories of being in that house in my first memories like ever.
So I think culture definitely plays a big part into, I guess, my identity. Growing up as as a Chinese person, who also has like influences of like Vietnamese culture, who also like grew up in Germany and has that influences. I think culture and like all these different cultures combined make up quite a unique identity. If I were to get rid of any of these cards, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Queerness is always grounded in our family, sort of.
Yeah.
Whereas in like the past like 10 years, to kind of like realize more about myself, I feel like that's kind of more important to me than the values that we grew up with.
But I think I've always been a lot more closer to my mum family, so I think with that, I guess more of those like values that come with more like Asian or Chinese culture. I think with having like an Asian side and a white side, I see them more like individualist versus like collectivist. It's funny because I can kind of see both.
And I sort of realized that home is not really the way to live. It's kind of like a state of mind, like a comfort state of mind.
Well, my family plays like a big importance on like family, right? So I've always kind of like grown up with the idea knowing that home is, I guess, not really just like a physical place. It's also that like feeling of like being with family and being with like people you love and stuff like that, right?
Yes, like I've gotten older. Maybe my idea of home is like still maybe similar, but then maybe like expanded. Yeah. And maybe like moved on less from like the actual physical aspect to more like...
Yeah.
My dad's very like, oh no, like to me and my brother, like, oh, it's good that you guys are like becoming more independent, and like my mom's like, oh, I'll do this for you, like I'll do this for you. It's like, I'm 21, like I can do that myself type of thing. So I think maybe like as I've gotten older and like wanting to have more independence, the home and even the like idea of it has gotten like slightly more negative.
I always had like pretty bad like eczema back then, so it was just like a lot on me, like I guess like mentally.
Yeah.
So just like the thought of like home, like in this case like physical, like the house or like my parents and all that, was a bit of a like negative time where I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go home and they're gonna like yell at me.
I feel like my idea of home, it's more like loose now. I think maybe my idea of home, like right now, it's almost wanting to like move away from it, and it's like, cause
escape.
Yeah.
It was during high school, right? So like I said, I'm a third culture kid, right? So it was during that time where I haven't been back to Germany for like ages. I'm like a Chinese person living here in Australia. So for me, I was like struggling to define what home meant. Because on one hand, you know, home is like obviously your physical place that you live in, but also it's like where your friends and family are. Well, where is home if I grew up in all these different places and I have all these different like parts that make up you know, who I am.
So I was in Scotland for a year and exchange, and I feel like I found a sense of home there. Like, even though it was away from family and stuff, and it was only for a year, I feel like I kind of have like a home there now.
If you don't talk to people, if you don't like listen to them, then you're always stuck with your own ideas, and there's only so far you can go with the knowledge that you have. So I guess like your idea of home will always like stay the same.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's more blurry than it was when I was a kid.
Home is just where I am, really. So I carry it with me.
Starting your life in a new place, it changes you like forever in a way. I don't agree with that statement because I do believe that everyone kind of needs a place where they can settle down fully.
I feel like I feel like home's more like friends, group of friends now. I feel more comfortable with them than I do with like at home. I feel like it's more people now rather than like a place.
I carry love for my family, my values, my traditions, my customs, and I also carry like the way that I behave and interact with people, because when you're very little, that's where you learn most of the stuff about your identity.
I feel like you always have little bits with you because you grow up, you have all like your family values and like culture and ideas like placed on you, and I feel like even if you stray away from that, you always have a little bit. And I feel like for me that's kind of part of home, like part of home.
But home is something like from your childhood that has impacted you, and it will always impact you. It's always going to be part of your identity.
There'll like always be like aspects of whether it's like cultures that like my mom has instilled with me, or maybe just certain behaviors that I've had since I've young. I feel like there's always going to be like, that's probably going to be with me till like I die.
With that, home it is me. Like, you know, I'm home because I'm enough to be home to myself. You know what I mean?
I am home because I am enough to be home for myself. How does that make you feel?